One of my favorite things to talk about is essentialism, probably because it's made more of an impact in my life than almost anything. Reading the book and applying some of its takeaways into my routine has changed my life for the better. And if I had to choose anything that I talk about that would stick with people, it would be some of the points from Essentialism that I'm going to mention today. The book Essentialism was directly involved with me even starting to make videos in the first place, as I finished the book the week I started this channel. So here's some points on Essentialism that changed my life. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and please omoplata the subscribe button. Let's get started. Don't let people make their problem your problem. And I feel particularly strong about this one, as I feel like it's something we should all at least be aware of. Essentialism taught me to set some boundaries and just limit how much I decide to get involved in general. I think it's really about being able to empathize, help out when and where I can, without actually taking on the problem itself. It makes a lot of sense in my head, but not so much when I say it out loud. Basically, I just got more comfortable saying no and got less involved when I didn't have to. And speaking of saying no, I learned how to say no. I'm absolutely positive I'm not alone with this one. I was always the one who wanted to try and keep the peace by agreeing to do something or be somewhere even if I didn't want to. Through Essentialism, I've learned to say no to requests, obligations, and tasks that I don't deem essential to my goals. Ultimately, this kept me from taking on unnecessary work and committing to things I just don't care about. When I began to say no and started taking more control of my time and energy, I realized how much of it was actually going to others. People will really start making decisions for you if you don't make them for yourself. Don't always do what you think is nice. Becoming an essentialist has taught me to be a way that I may have previously considered rude or selfish. I would always do or say what would make others happy regardless of how I actually felt about it. What this ended up doing was harboring this frustration that made me not want to be around certain people because I was uncomfortable, to be honest. There's a video on YouTube here called The Problem with Nice People. I'll link it down in the description box, but it perfectly sums up how being nice to others but not yourself ultimately pushes people away. And this is actually a lot easier said than done. And for me, it took a lot of practice. I naturally wanted to say yes and be nice to avoid a confrontation or a conflict, or to just get something over with. However, I think most people would appreciate honesty over just being told yes. Celebrate small wins. I have a ton of long-term goals that I would consider big goals, and some of these I may not reach for several years. Something Essentialism has taught me is to enjoy the progress, enjoy taking small steps, and of course, celebrating the small wins. So what I've personally done was create smaller milestones on the way to my bigger goals. If you have a goal of having $10,000 in your savings, try creating smaller milestones of every $1,000 or so. In my experience, celebrating these smaller wins has helped me stay on track and kept me motivated toward those larger goals. Now, I know I show a lot of food and coffee B-roll in my videos, but I just can't help myself. I mean, look how beautiful this is. And if you're wondering, no, I didn't make this because if I did, I would probably just make cooking videos. Limit priorities. While there's obviously more than one thing I want to get done in life, I found it very important and very effective to focus on one main thing at a time. I found that having more than one priority or more than one main thing I'm focusing on leads to stress, being overwhelmed, and most importantly, lack of progress. Giving 100% effort into one priority at a time has led to me getting things done faster and with the attention they ultimately deserve. I recommend keeping the word priority singular and try to avoid multitasking when possible. Improved decision making. One of my least favorite things about myself is how naturally indecisive I am. Essentialism has taught me to become better at making simple or difficult decisions just by streamlining my life. Once I was only surrounded by the things I deem essential to my everyday life, the decisions I had to make on a daily basis became very limited, curbing decision fatigue. I've identified where I want my time and energy to go to. Making decisions big or small is almost effortless now, and has given me the confidence to stand by those decisions I end up making. Set boundaries for your personal life and your work life. I think naturally when you're just a person who wants to get things done, it's very difficult to sit back and breathe for a second. I know it is for me. Just like learning how to say no to others, Essentialism has also taught me to say no to myself sometimes. Whenever I'm sitting around doing nothing, I feel guilty like I should be working or getting something on my to-do list done. But designating time for relaxation and rest is definitely the best way for me to feel inspired to create or work again. I think it's just about creating a healthy balance of work and fun, and this is how I avoid burnout. Embrace deep work. And lastly, one of my favorite things Essentialism has taught me was to sort of trick myself into enjoying my deep work sessions. Whereas before I would multitask and end up spreading myself too thin, I now immerse myself in the most important thing, always leading to better results. I feel like the main reason to focus on Essentialism is to focus on the vital few. And ever since embracing this idea, I do truly enjoy sitting at my desk now, feeling like I'm getting a lot of work done, even if that's not always the case. I love sharing the things that I learned through Essentialism, because as much as I need it as a reminder to myself, they genuinely bring a lot of value to those who put them into practice. So stand up for yourself and say no when you want to say no. Anyways, as always, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.